What's up guys, I am back, and in the last couple of episodes we built two different planes, the version 1 and the version 2, and I think it's finally time to do the version 3. And this time I'm going to build a flying wing, and not only that, I'm going to install one of my old flight controllers in it and try the iNav software to have some assisted flight. So let's get started.
Close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
So the flying wing is finally finished and it's time for the maiden flight. Now building this plane was a lot different from building the other ones, and I really liked how I used this plate here to put everything on, because it was really simple, just connect all the electronics. Also, it would be way easier if I want to change anything in the end. Now in my old plane, the version 2, everything was inside of the plane, which was very nice looking, but it was a complete mess to fix anything. So yeah, I hope this is a bit more serviceable. So let's just hope that this thing flies. Let's go. So me and Lucas went out to a big field to do the first maiden flight. Here you can see us discussing on how to throw the plane. We finally decided to do the first attempt, but we decided to do it without the motor and just see how the plane would actually fly on its own. And as you can see, it went kind of horrible. Although it's interesting to see how it actually corrected itself here, which seems promising for future flights. We then tried a second toss, tossing it from the back so we wouldn't get that spin. And it seemed very promising. Then we tried firing up the motor, and here's where we ran into the first problem. When throttling up the motor to full speed, it came out smoke out of it and it completely stopped working. I guess there was some mud or something inside. So we had to go back home and install a new motor. With the new motor installed, we did the second throttle test, and now everything worked as it should. So we decided to opt for the second type of throw, and then I would just arm the wing in the air. However, this did not go as expected, as I couldn't actually arm the wing while it wasn't completely level. However, the plane kept flying quite level afterwards, so it seemed promising. So we decided to arm the motor before starting the throw. The throw wasn't really that good, so we just had to practice a bit on the throw.
Let's give it another shot.
Är du beredd?
Ja, 3.
Vänta.
Ja.
Jag gasar upp först. Okej.
3, 2, 1.
And it finally worked. It was such an amazing experience seeing the plane that I had built by myself finally get up in the air and just fly around. What's interesting to note though is that this plane was definitely the one that was easiest to get up in the air if you compare all the planes I've built so far. I guess that has to do with the fact that I've learned a lot, but also that this design is a lot easier to get right. The other designs have a long tail and such, so it's hard to know what part isn't really correct. Even though the plane flew at this point, it was still very front heavy, and I had to keep the pitch at maximum all the time to keep it up in the air. This was something I anticipated, and I made it front heavy on purpose, just because I know that it's easier to control a front heavy plane than a back heavy. And I landed the plane, and it was a successful maiden.
Oh, yes! Det var bra! Jäklar vad sjukt att det funkade.
The feeling of happiness and excitement after a first successful flight is really undescribable. And I would definitely recommend you guys to try and build a plane. It's just super satisfying to see it fly for the first time. And it's a really fun experience because you get to troubleshoot and experiment with aerodynamics in a fun and safe environment. So at this point we prepare for a second flight, and Lucas is firing up his quad to do some chasing. So here I'm just cruising around and trying out the different controls, and the plane is definitely a bit wobbly, but it still has a lot of authority. Now I haven't actually turned on the stabilization at this point, and I'm flying it completely manual, but I will experiment with the stabilization later. So what happened here was I was trying to get as much altitude as I possibly could to go over that treetop. However, the plane kind of sunk a lot just as I was passing by, and I hit the tree. Okay, so after the maiden flight, it kind of broke over here and over here. So I kind of expected it to, actually. I knew that this was like the weakest points, but at the same time I didn't want to fix it right away because I didn't know if it could handle the extra weight. But now that I know that it flies, I'm gonna reinforce it. So I cut out these two pieces and I will attach them like this. Okay, so the CG has been moved back, and I've added these winglets now, so I think it's time for the second test flight. Let's hope it works. Yeah! Vänta. Ja. Jag ska starta video här också. Okej, ska vi köra? Ja. På 3. 1, 2, kör! And it worked even better than before. However, it felt a bit back heavy at this point, so I will move the weight forward just a little bit. But that's it for this video, I guess. We made the plane fly. Now I will definitely make more videos featuring this plane where we'll do all sorts of fun experiments with it, and also experimenting more with the flight controller and the iNav software. And I would, as I said earlier, recommend all of you guys to try out building planes. It's just really fun, the parts are actually super cheap, and it's just a fun process, and it's amazing to see the plane actually fly in the end. Having that flying, especially if you had FPV, because having that flying sensation, like when you're just blasting over the different sceneries, it's just an amazing experience. And also, if any of you guys are interested in building a plane like this one, I'll have some part suggestions in the description below, as well as the dimensions and profiles of my wings. So, I guess this is it for this time, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one.